Hi all, welcome back to more Labyrinth, the Awakening, playing the Arab Spring scenario solo. This is part 13. Been a few days since I've had the chance to record. Yeah, quite a few days I think. I'm up to date I think part 12 I've not watched back yet. Yeah, so I've not got that out to you yet. Everything else has. So just quickly going over a couple of comments from 10 and 11. I think that's where we're at. I might not have spoke about things in part 9, possibly. I'm not so sure. So, yeah, a couple of comments in part 10. So, from Tim at the 44-minute, 10-second mark. Putting two troops... Yeah, I realise this, don't I? Putting two troops in Morocco isn't going to affect the bot's decision. The 1 to 4 more cells and troops, but only applies to poor countries. Yeah, I eventually realised that when I'm going through the flowchart. Morocco is a good or fair Muslim where jihad success possible, so it's going to attempt a minor jihad there, regardless of troop presence. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, because like you said, you'd be able to disrupt there for a prestige boost, but it won't have the effect that you're thinking on the bot's choice of action. Yeah, I do realise this when I'm eventually looking through it, don't I? And choose to take my chances with it. And the cell does attempt, there's only one cell, isn't there? It does attempt a minor jihad and fails and goes back to the track. So, yeah, I get there eventually with that. But thanks anyway for leaving that there, Tim. I probably should add these things myself. I think sometimes when I move on and I sort of realise and I don't actually do it, although I'm talking about it, I tend to just leave the things in that. But it's fine if you want to leave these comments, that's fine. From Hamlar, Merry late Christmas, Grant, Happy New Year's too. Yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody. I don't think I did say that. I'm now at not quite New Year. This is the 30th. Tomorrow's Hogmanay, yeah. So close to New Year. So Happy New Year when it comes as well, in case I don't get the chance to record for a bit. I should be able to though. I'm hoping to get a couple of shots over the next few days. But we'll see. There was a chance for revolution to trigger. It says if you use censorship to turn Algeria, Tunisia good and got unlucky with a marker in Turkey, Erdogan's government would have imploded and Congress acts would force you to get involved, resetting you back to 8 cards at the end of the turn. I've no idea. I need to look back on all the cards and try and work that one out. But there was a chance for revolution to trigger. Yeah, I need to look back on the cards. But Amor leaves the comments there just for other people watching, mainly for them look into these things. But which is fine, which is all good. So that was all I got from part 10. So just a quick look at part 11. There's a couple of comments here. Yeah. You know what? I replied to this one from Tim. And sorry, I'm not replying to everything. I know. I'm getting lazy. It's just if I know I understand and I can have a quick response, I'll do that maybe while I'm reading it. I know you explained this to me before, Tim. I think I said that while I was recording this part at this time. So it means, but I mean, I also thought about it later when I was watching back in the video. I thought it's pretty common sense. It's pretty easy to understand. I mean, basically, Tim just spells it out. Select means there's a choice. Set means there isn't a choice. And yeah, I mean, if it says you have to set the posture of something, it'll say set Italy to hard, right? Set Italy to hard, and that's what you've got to do. There's not a select option there. It's setting it. If it says select a Schengen country, select a Schengen country's posture, or what was it we're trying to do, then you're going to look at it and see, is it hard or is it soft? And you'll go by the bot rules there. The bot wants to choose the opposite from the US. So right at the moment, the US is soft. So it would select France to try and change its posture. I mean, If it said set France to hard or set France to soft, that would say set. So that is the difference. It's pretty easy, really, Grant. I don't know why you were having so much difficulty with it, but anyway. I thought there was more. Yeah, no, I replied to that, didn't I? I've got 4 comments shown here. That's 2. And then Hammer. There's only 3. I'm only seeing 3 comments. It says that there's 4, but I don't know what that is. Anyway, from Hamler, again on part 11. You mentioned my comments in the video, so you don't really need to reply to every single one. No need for apologies, Grant. Yeah, I know. I might have missed some of them. That's what bothered me a bit. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what bothered me. But I'll read this one out because it's here. So he says, Copycat and John are pretty generous cards to start the next half of the game. Yes, because I'm reading these things out and I need to go back, look at the video, look out the cards that he's talking about and go through it. But if you're watching the video with these comments in mind, it'll make much more sense. He says, the plot in the US would be useful since it could flip you to hard, undoing John's work. And with bots funding so high already, it could also destroy your built-up prestige, though, he said. Yeah, this is when... Yeah, this was the Copycat one that I dodged, did I? This was the one that we were going to ruin our posture. Oh, no, it was a pot. Sorry, it was a pot, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a pot in the US. Yeah. So it was we were going to have to set... fund it in 9, but it was at 8, so that wasn't such a problem. But we were sitting like that, I think, at the time, and I said, well, rolling on posture's not such a problem either, so we might get lucky and go hard with that. If not, we're still in the same position that we're in. What my worry was that we were rolling on prestige, and I want to say whether it was 4 or 5 at the time, my prestige was like that. So I think he was saying that it might have been worthwhile doing it, letting the pot go off. But we've worked it around the other way. I think we've worked it around quite well, I think. He carries on, unfortunately, or fortunately, question mark, despite the AK-47, there aren't going to be as much civil wars as you think, since a lot of them got used for ops or discarded earlier. Well, I never really noticed. I've been counting the remaining cards that cause them, but he's not going to spoil it for us. Okay, good stuff. Right, thanks for your comments, guys. Like I say, part 12 should be out soon, and well, if you're watching this, you've probably watched that already. Let me put this on charge and we'll get on with the game. So I did just glance back at what happened in part 12. We played the last 2 cards. We done a War of Ideas in Gulf States, moved it from neutral to fair. Then we played smartphones in Gulf States because it had been the subject of an operation, and put another vacant market there. So that's sitting nice as well. We've got 2 good countries over there. Looking quite good. All the sales are in Afghanistan, all 15 of them. Pakistan's a lost cause for us, really. Unless we come across a card, like I say, that can rescue it somehow. But I find that a bit... Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a shot at that. So it's sitting okay anyway. There's a glance at her hand. I'm going to have to look over the cards again. Remove 2 troops. Well, I know it's a bot's turn. Will we not just have a turn for the bot? This is the only jihadist card we've got, though. Yeah, I don't want to play this, really. Remove 2 troops from track first to off-map box. Well, we've got a full set of troops up there now. We did get our 3 troops back from the Congress Act card event. So we've got the full set of troops up there. So it looks quite nice. Everything feels like it's sitting pretty good. We played smartphones again, so we do have access to play a Facebook if we happen to get that card again. That's the other side. I mean, I don't suppose it matter losing 2 troops because they come back at the end of the next draw phase, so they come back at the end of the turn. And in fact, if I played this card right at the end, if the last card, then I would get the troops pretty much straight back. It does, however, set China to the opposite of the US posture. So it's going to set China to hard. China is... Where is it? It's not been tested yet, so which would mean that things would shift like that, giving us a penalty right now. However, we'll see what happens, because it's not terrible, and just to get the extra 2 ops, it might be worthwhile taking that little hat. I don't know, maybe that's silly talk. Dara, I want to feel like, was this not quite good? No, this is unplayable, isn't it? No, if Syria not Islamist rule, it's not. Test, and then, so test Syria, and then improve its governance 1 level, not too good, and place a waking marker there. Yeah, that's good. I don't feel like... I think I've been away for that long. I don't recall that being as good as it was then. That sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah. Search through discard pile, select, reveal, and draw 1 of these cards. I want to say we've got... Yeah, there's 2. I've set them aside, actually. However, the cards we're getting back, I don't know if they were better or worse than having our 3 ops, to be honest. I think I was going to keep that just in case there was... I think we've got Jihadi John. That's the one Hammer was talking about. And I want to say it's Abu Saif, is that? No, it's not. It's Ayman... Ayman Zawahiri. It's they 2. Right. I've got them set aside in the discard pile. These 2. So what's that? That plays for 1 prestige. This one's slightly better. This one's -1 funding and 1 prestige. Which isn't bad. To be honest, that's pretty good, Grant. Maybe I should go and get that with us. But we'll see. We'll keep that one in mind as well. And then status quo is really good. However, we've not got a regime change. And it needs to be tan. Yeah, so this can't happen this turn. So I need to carry that. Need to carry that card over. And if you're contemplating maybe taking a hit with that, you would be able to carry that card over. However, I'm still soft. I can't do any regime change. Yeah, again, maybe want to just hold on to these cards a little bit longer, but then I've only got 5 cards left, Grant, so... play if you can select a plot in a Muslim country. Well, no, we can't. So that's maybe just 1 ops. Again, it could happen. I think we need to see what the bot's next 2 cards are. There's quite a lot of cards here that could depend on what they do, isn't it? Dara seems like a very nice playable event. So my next turn could be play that for event. And yeah, I'm not sure about the rest. Right, well, let's see. This could change my mind completely or whatever. They might do something strange. I don't think there's any more to talk about. I don't think... no, hang on. Just let me check my phone if I took any notes. Notes. Where are we? Labyrinth. The last notes are for part 6, it seems, so... Okay, so I think we're okay. I think we're up to date with what I believe is everything's okay anyway. Right, let's get some gameplay. Right, so you had this first action phase of this. Well, first card of this action phase for them. Ebola Scare, right. Unassociated event, 1 ops, or sitting with 1 reserve. That's an unassociated event, no Grant, if you play it. So if Jihadis, US randomly discards 1 card. Jings. Lapsing and remove. Well, sure, the lapsing bit is only for the US play, isn't it? So, but it does say lapsing and remove, so I would assume we have to remove that card, even if it's Jihadist player, because generally we'd have it under the US, but wouldn't it? So it must be going away no matter what. Card 204, let's have a look. Yeah, it's only got comments. Only got instructions if it was the US bot. So, yeah, we have to. Yeah, he's going to play this. So we're going to play this for the event, remember? So a boa scare. Alright, boa scare. I think this is a card in the base set as well, but they sometimes change up a little bit, haven't they? Anyway, the 2014 Ebola outbreak grabbed the headlines for several months and diverted resources and national command authority attention away from global war on terror when ISIL was centre stage at the same time. The US-led response to this world health crisis was historic and worthy of praise. Actually, I'm not sure if that was in the base game. I seem to recall reading that exactly before, so it might have just been in my previous playthrough of the Awakening part. Okay, so Ebola Scare, World Health Crisis Response. So it's jihadist played. US randomly discards one card. Okay. Well, yeah, okay, so I'm just going to flip the card. What have we got? We've got 5 cards. I'm going to flip them upside down, give them a shuffle, hope we pick that jihadist card. I really hope we don't pick, what was the best one? That Dara, wasn't it? Right, okay, so we've got 5 cards. I'll just set them aside there and I'll roll a d6 and we'll re-roll a 6 from top to bottom. That's the card that will go. Okay, here we go. Right, a 3. So, 1, 2. Oh! It's just the way it comes out, guys. Come on. You know I don't cheat. Well, I suppose you don't really know. I mean, I could just do what I like. Pause the camera. You see things pausing a lot. Shifting things about. But, well, I can only tell you that that was genuine. That's what happened. So we just discard this, yeah? Yes, randomly discards one card. So I was lucky. So, in actual fact, that still might mean we can keep, if we wanted to consider keeping one of our cards, the one that is really good for the regime change. What is status quo, innit? Yeah, in fact, I'll lay them back out again here. Yeah, status quo. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Right, so they played that for event. Remember, it's an unassociated event, so they're going to get 1-ops as well into reserves. Yep. And they were sitting at 1, so now they're up to 2. And that's the first card play of the phase. So let's move on. Second card is another 1-ops unassociated event, but they're at 2 reserves now anyway, so if they play it for event, they're not going to benefit from any more. Right, it's not got a jihadist sort of thing. Let's just have a look at 202. Right, okay, there is some instruction. Let's read that then. Excuse me. Set your opponent's reserves to 0 and add the value you lost to your reserves, or select posture of either China, Russia, or India, or place or remove a cadre. Right, so 3 options there. And the instruction is, so I think this is playable. Was it 202? Set posture if World Global War on Terror marker would move, else reserves if any. Well, I don't have any reserves, so they're not going to steal. Well, they couldn't steal my reserves anyway, because they're at max and we're at 0. So set posture if World Global War on Terror marker would move, else reserves if any. See, interesting that it's skipping one of the options. I said this before, didn't I? There was one card we had before like this. In fact, could it have been this one? That would have been the previous playthrough. Where it had 3 options, and the instructions were do option 1 if such and such, either that or else do option 2. And it was like, there was no mention of option 3. So what do you do if option 1, what was option 2 here? reserves, if any. So there's no reserves. Well, let's see if it's going to do. I think it is going to do the first one, though, isn't it? Set posture. If World Global War on Terror marker would move. Yeah. So what it means is, if this would go at least one towards that side, it's going to do it. It's not going to do it. Well, hold on here. It just says if global war on terror marker would move. So if it moves like that, that's it moved as well. But I want to say if we look at posture, yeah, look, Grant, don't bother looking at that. I'm pretty sure it's going to tell me that I can't go that way. Because by going that way, I need to set the same posture as the US. Pretty sure it says not to do that, doesn't it? Setting a roll in for posture. When an event instructs to select a roll for posture, Jihadist bot always selects countries with the same posture as the US. Then unmarked, always sets posture to the opposite of the US. And always sets posture to the opposite of the US. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this can't happen anyway, but let's see, what were the countries anyway? So select posture of either China, Russia, or India. Yeah, okay. So select is a choice, Grant. I'm trying to think it through there again because I'm thinking, what's the difference between that and set? But if it said set posture, it would have to tell you what it was setting it to. It would have to say set China's posture to hard. It's saying select China's posture, or the other countries. But so you're getting the choice, whereas setting is not giving you a choice. It's telling you to put it hard. That's your option. Set it to hard, and that's it. Right, so select posture of either China, Russia, or India. Okay. So we might need to have a tie-break situation on that, though, don't it? Russia's not been tested. Hang on, what was the first one? First one's China. China's not been tested. Russia's not been tested. India has not been tested either. Okay, so it's going to set one of the countries' posture to hard. Select posture, yeah. And that was the priority in the instruction, wasn't that? Set posture if global war and terror marker would move. Well, it's definitely going to move. Whatever one we pick, it's going to move to hard one, right? Because they haven't been tested already. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this is one that I don't know how to check between I don't know where to look. What priority table to look at. Is it markers? You think it's it's going to be the jihad column, isn't it? But this is the one that doesn't really. I don't think it gives you anything in the rules for it. I think this is a bit where we've been here before. So yes, this is all fine and well. So it's going to select posture. It's going to select. The choice it's got is 3 countries that haven't been tested. So it can't select a country with the same posture as the US. It's going to select an unmarked country because the 3 of them are unmarked. So that's fine and well, but it doesn't tell you then where to break that down. We've got 3 countries that are unmarked. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been here before trying to decide between this. Does it matter much? Probably not. I think I came to that conclusion before as well. Russia's in the base game got a bit of priority, but this isn't the base game or Awakening. I don't think that they don't have the WMDs anymore, and it's fair. China's just fair. India's good. So could it be between that? I don't know. Well, maybe I'll just look down the jihad priorities table. I can only think that's the one. I think I looked it up on BGG as well, and I don't think I was getting any joy with this. It does say if you're doing a jihad or marker, and this is where you look at when you're doing awakening markers and reaction markers. Now, posture is a marker, but you know, and it does talk about alignment and governance. You know, I just wish the word posture was in there, but I guess. Well, let's look, see what we pick. So between Russia, China, which are both fair, and India, which is good. It's not a jihad. Right, it's not Pakistan. Don't have Bush's regime. Yeah, maybe nothing comes up here. They don't have aid. I mean, they've got no markers at all in them. Regime change. Highest resource. They don't have resources. With troops. No. Iran's not one. I don't think we're going to get anything in. Most cells adjacent to Islamist rule, which could be, or oil exporter. No, it's not adjacent. The Islamist rule we've got is Afghanistan. China's there, which isn't adjacent to it. India's there, which isn't adjacent to it. And Russia's not adjacent to it either. And they're not oil exporters. They're all non-Muslim countries. So yeah, I can't break it down with that. So maybe. But if we were looking at, I mean, right now, if this was, let's just say Central Asia was Islamist rule. This is adjacent to China and it's adjacent to Russia. So does that then rule India out? I mean, if I'm following that table, it would then rule India out and we'd roll between China and Russia. Or the other one could be, well, if Pakistan was Islamist rule, it would be adjacent to India. So would that be it? But I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if I should be following that priorities table. Maybe let me know with that one, guys. If you know for sure. I believe it's came up before, so somebody might have told me already, but I know I want to say, was this not the one where I think Johnny was having a bit of a laugh with me about the fact that I checked every priority to see what the results were or something, and I think it was something like that, and then there was another case came up where he was surprised that I didn't look through all these, and I just made my mind up. I think that one was pretty straightforward to me. I don't really see this spelled out, so if it is spelled out, tell me what it is, please, guys. I'm going to go with that. I'm just going to go with that to keep the game rolling. I don't think it's probably a huge big deal. I could start looking more, but I'm pretty sure I've looked for this before. Well, hang on here. You said that's the bit that's got a rat in it. Let's have a look in case, because it misses out the. I'm talking about this. This is got in the living. It's in the living rules. Well, could it not be in the errata there? You've got 12.3.5. Give me a second. Yeah, I can't see it in the errata, but it is in the living rules. If you look online, they're all highlighted in blue, and in here it says same posture as US, then unmarked, then opposite posture from US, because it doesn't say it there, but I mean. And then always set it to the opposite of the US. But it doesn't tell you again there about how you break down if there's more than one there. Okay, we're just going to randomise them. So I'm going to say Russia's a 1-2, China's a 3-4, and India's a 5-6. And so here we go. 4, that's China then, isn't it? So yeah, Russia was 1-2, China was 3-4. Okay, so China is setting its posture. That was right, wasn't it? Selecting its posture. Select posture of either China, Russia, or India. We're going to select China's posture, not soft, hard. Of hard. You would maybe think that they would pick between China and Russia because they're fair. Because if I want to do an operation in China, it costs me a 2 ops, whereas India would only cost me 1 ops. So I don't know, But I don't know if there's a way of looking at that, then let us know. And then that changes that, which is what had to happen to make this not this work, but the event instruction says do this if this will move. Do that operation, do that event if that'll move, and it has. It's moved from there to there, giving us a -1 global war on terror penalty now. 202, set posture of world global on terror marker would move. Yeah. Okay, so it has, it's moved. And that's not good. Right, so played... Oh, I never read the event out. Hang on. Right, they were on the same page. Yeah, it was 204, the last one, yeah. So 202, Cyber Warfare. Undoubtedly, any future expansions to this series will have a lot more documented events on this theme. The card is designed to show in-game board effects that could be achieved through clandestine cyber warfare. So cyber warfare, hacker penetrates key systems, and it's going to do the middle of the 3 options there, going by the event instructions table, and it's selected China's posture. Let's say we just randomise between the 3 options, and set it at hard, which has put us at a global war on terror penalty. Right, it would get 1 ops for that, added to reserves, but as you can see it's up to 2, so nothing more doing there. So this card's discarded, and I mean my take is it would lapse, but the lapsing part is only if we played it as the US. Remove 1 troop from track first off map box until the next draw phase, then to track, plus 2 prestige. Yeah, it would just lapse there until the end of turn where you get the troop back. But it does say lapse and remove, so I mean, unless it lapse and removes for that part, but I think if that was the case, it would have it up underneath the US part. That sort of tends to say to me that it's a bit strange, because it doesn't need to lapse for the jihadist play, does it? Right, so I'm going to remove it anyway. Let me know if you think that's wrong, but it's probably not a big deal. So that goes there, discarded, that gets removed, and okay, now it's back to us. Right, well, we got rid of... So we've not got the option now of the jihadist card, because we got lucky and randomly got rid of the right card. So I did say I was going to play Dara. Now, nothing's really changed. Well, I'm saying nothing's changed, that's not true. And you know what, that is kind of annoying, because I might have considered using Backlash. Yeah, but can you not do it, and you can do it in France and Benelux anyway, Grant. Yeah. Might have considered using this to try and switch the posture back. But yeah, I've got two Schengen countries up there that would only cost 1 ops to do that in anyway. So, play if you can select a plot in a Muslim country. Yeah, I mean, it's unlikely. So should I just play Dara and then use Backlash to try and switch posture of one of the Schengen countries, maybe? I mean, the other thing is, well, what are we getting for that? War of Ideas wise? Remember, we're going to good, so that's a -1. No adjacent, but it's a -1. No, hang on, your global war on terror's a -1 as well, Grant, isn't it? Well, if you did use Backlash to try and switch France or Benelux and you got rid of that penalty, it would be a +1 roll on it, wouldn't it? -1 for the going to good, and +2 for the awakening. My prestige is just at medium, so no bonus there. It would cost me 2 ops. Then again, we could just sit to the end of the turn and gather another awakening marker there. That's assuming the Jadispoor doesn't do anything with that anyway. I feel like I should... Sorry, I'm not Islamic rule. Test, and then if US play, improve governance 1 level. Yeah, so I mean, if it doesn't improve the alignment. So what we'd be doing here is... Sorry, and I'm talking about playing this. Maybe? Well, yeah, I think I am going to play this. So we'd test that. If it was poor neutral, we'd improve it to fair neutral. Because it says not to good. If we tested it poor neutral, then it wouldn't change it to good. However, we do get to place an awaken marker there as well. I think that's worth playing for the event, for sure. Well, you've got to play 2 cards, Grant. I think that and the backlash. I'm going to go for... Let's just go for France then. Right, I'm going to play this first. So I'm going to play backlash for the ops. Just take 1 ops. Yeah. So not playing for the event, and I'm going to try a War of Ideas in France. So this is non-Muslim country. Try to switch it to soft. If we get the result, same result as the US, we get a prestige as well. And obviously this would go to soft 1, wouldn't it? Right, let's do that. Right, okay, so attempting to switch France's posture. So it's posture, so 1 to 4 is soft, that's the result we're looking for. 5 to 6 is hard. And like I say, if we get soft, we also gain a prestige here. So okay, so we want a 1 to 4. No, you don't get them all, Grant. Right, so it stays hard. France, we don't get a prestige, and that doesn't move. So, not so good. Right, let's just do the Dara then. So I'm going to play this for event. So let's have a look at that. Okay, 220 Dara. The rest of 15 children protesters in Dara is what really inflamed the Arab Spring movement against the Ba'athist regime in Syria, quickly leading to civil war. Card 234. Okay, so Dara protests in Syria, unassociated event. We're playing it as the US. So if Syria not Islamist rule, it's not. So we're going to test that, and then if US play, improve its governance 1 level, not to good, and place 1 awakening marker there. So we're going to test Syria. It's not Islamist rule, and it's untested. If it's been tested there, and it wasn't Islamist rule, do you test it again? I thought when a country's been tested, you don't test it again. Would it still just... Would the card just improve its governance? I mean, it's not a problem here, but I suppose I'm just thinking about... If Syria was poor neutral right now and had been tested by some other reason, then I'm sure it tells us in the rules, doesn't it? If a country's been tested... In fact, I might even tell you on the play raid. You've got initial test, haven't you? Well, it's 4.9.4, so let me see. It's specifically saying to do a test. So here's 4.9.4, which is initial tests. But let's see. Yeah, important. Here we go. Event instructions to test a country have no effect if the country is already marked with a governance level or posture. I mean, that does just say test it. Okay. Of no effect. Also note that test and it's got in brackets, rule only if unmarked is different than select, player's choice, and a marked or unmarked country may be selected. Yeah, okay, so it does have the word test. So, yeah, if Syria right now, now, but my second half of that question was, would we change its governance? Would we improve its governance? If Syria not Islamist rule, right, let's just say it's pure neutral. Test, well, we don't need to test it because it's already been tested, so it's pure neutral. And then if US play, improve its governance one level, not to good. Place one awakening marker then. Yeah. That's fine, Grant. I think if Syria was already pure neutral right now, we wouldn't do a test on it because it's already tested, but we would improve it to fair neutral and place an awakening marker. Okay. Let me know if I've got that wrong, of course. Right, we're going to test it anyway because it's not tested. So a 1 to 4 is pure, 5 to 6 will be fair. Actually, we don't even need to roll for this, do we? It's going to be fair no matter what. Anyway, suppose we do the roll. Right, so that's fair, isn't it? So 5 to 6 would be fair. And the reason I'm saying I don't need to roll is because if it's poor, we're improving its governance to fair anyway. So it tests at fair, and it specifically says on the card that you would improve its governance one level, but not to good, right? And place one awakening marker there. Yeah, it's always going to be fair. Yeah, it's always going to end up fair and an awakening marker, isn't it? No matter what, I don't think. Right, and one awakening marker. Okay, and that's a new country. It just came about. So our fair good goes up to 4. Yeah. Okay, that's us done. Wasn't that? That's a card done. Yeah, governance 1. Place awakening marker there. Okay, this was played for events, so that gets removed. This was just played for ops, so it gets discarded. There it gets removed up the back there. Okay, well, I'm at 42 minutes. Right, I'm keen to go a bit more, so I'm hoping to get another part as well, actually. So they've got, well, we've only got 2 cards left, but they just discarded one of our cards, so they've got 3, yeah. Because we started the same amount of cards in this one. You okay? We're good to go? Yeah, let's do it. Alright, next you had this card. Another 1 ops. Unassociated event. Reserves are at 2, so they're maxed out. Erdogan effect. Play in Turkey or in one adjacent non-Schengen country but not Russia. Okay. Place or remove, not flip, an aid, besiege regime, awakening, reaction, or posture marker, or place or remove up to 2 total militia and or cells. Well, it's not going to place awakening, militia, or aid markers. So, Turkey or in one adjacent non-Schengen country. Turkey's got a reaction marker. Well, there's the situation up there. So it's wanting to do this in Turkey or in an adjacent non-Schengen country. Let's quick glance at them. I feel like there might be some instructions for this, to be honest. It's card 205. So the priority, it looks like, is place cells, then reaction marker using recruit and travel 2 priorities. So Erdogan effect. Right, okay. Let's see where this can go, because it can either target Turkey or one adjacent non-Schengen country, but not Russia. So Caucasus, there's quite a few options, isn't there? Iran, Syria, non-Schengen. Serbia is not a Schengen country though. but it's not going to look at Schengen countries. So is that right? Turkey, and then you've got, looking at the little lines, this line's no good because that takes us to Schengen, which we're not allowed. Serbia, that takes us to Russia, which we're not allowed. Caucasus I've got covered. Iran I've got, there's another one we missed though. Iran I've got covered. Syria I've got covered, but what have I not got covered? Down to Iraq. That's that cheeky little branch, fork in the road, if you like. Okay. So, looking back at the card, and then just checking the event instructions again. Place or remove an aid, a besieged regime, awaken a reactor or posture marker, or place or remove up to 2 militia cells. It wants to target cells first. So it says place cells, then reaction marker using retreat and travel 2 priorities. So I'm assuming when it says place cells, then reaction marker, if there was no cell, there isn't any cells available. So you are in that position. There's instruction there. Zoom out a little bit. 205 it is, I think. So place cells, comma, then reaction marker using recruit and travel 2 priorities. So if I was placing cells here, am I using the recruit and travel 2 priorities? Or is that just for the reaction marker? It's interesting though, because normally reaction markers are placed with the jihad priorities, aren't they? And that just says recruit and travel 2 priorities, so it's not got the word table. So we actually go to the full chart first with that. I'm not sure there. Place cells. I think it means the whole thing would be checked that via recruit and travel 2 priorities. Cells are normally done that way when you're placing them, aren't they? If I was placing a cell, it would normally say, yeah, look, there's one, just that one just up there. Place cells using recruit and travel 2 priorities. So I think that means place cells, if you've got them, using the recruit and travel 2 priorities. If there's no cells, you're then going to place a reaction marker, but you're still going to use that, which is different to what you normally do. But, okay, we have no cells on the track, so we can't place any cells. So we're going to look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green cubes and place a reaction marker via the recruit and travel 2 priorities. So is there a poor Muslim country with 1 to 4 more cells and troops and militia? No, all the cells are in Afghanistan and it's not selected. We're not recruiting. Is there a good Muslim country amongst them? No, we've got a good non-Muslim country. Fair Muslim with best jihad DRM. Syria. They're just going to trump our awakening marker, I think. That's annoying. Well, to be honest, I wouldn't have liked it going on Turkey, to be honest, and giving them 2 reaction markers. Anyway, this is a playable event. Let's have a look at the event and then just double check, but I think it's going in Syria. Okay, 205, Erdogan effect. President recap. That doesn't sound right. But then reset doesn't sound right. I don't know. Alright, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has a tough challenge with the largest civil war of the century raging on his borders, NATO commitments to fulfill, a large progressive Muslim population, and Kurdish separatists in the east. His attempts to balance these demands could lead Turkey to take a variety of different courses of action. Okay, so Erdogan effect. Turkish president walks a fine line between East and West. So, well, we know it's all the countries with green cubes, and we know that it wants to place cells if it can. It can't, so it's going to place a reaction marker instead. And following the recruit and travel 2 priorities, I'm just double checking this again on the countries with green cubes. There's no poor Muslim who want to form more cells. It's not a recruit. There's no good Muslim country. No. Fair Muslim at best jihad DRM. Well, there's only one fair Muslim country in them. Remember, Iran's not considered Muslim. So yeah, Turkey's poor, Iraq's poor, Serbia, Caucasus, and are both non-Muslim, which would be the next priority. But there is a fair Muslim. I mean, even though it's got a bad DRM because of the awakening marker, well, it's just about to improve it. It's still a fair Muslim country. So yeah, that's where it's going to place a reaction marker. Let's move them up a little bit. So it kind of balances my just placing of that awakening marker in Syria as well. I mean, it's still fair, but yeah, well, anyway. Okay, that's so they played that for event. That was just the first card play. Yeah, it was. So they played that for event. It is unassociated, but again, they've still got the 2 reserves, so they're not going to add to that. Right, let's get their second card, and then I'll cut this apart. And hopefully just come straight back, though. And finish this turn off, maybe. Yeah, okay. Right, hang on a second. Right, here we go. Second card. Oh, no! Damn. Oh well, I'm going to read it again. Place smartphones in effect, it is. Place 1 awaken marker up to 3 countries that already have an awaken marker in or adjacent. Oh. That's really good, isn't it? That's annoying. And we know this is the last one. Oh well. Okay, well, they're not playing it. I will go to the discard pile, but yeah, unfortunately this card doesn't say search for Facebook. Okay, so 3 ops. They've got 2 reserves, but 3 ops is all they're getting. Right, I'm not sure what they're probably going to attempt to travel, aren't they? Well, let's see. Because all the cells are out. So, no. The only cells are in Islamist rule. All 15 of them are there. No funding's ample, so that's no. Is there a cell available? No, so it's going to travel. It's going to travel to no. That's not a travel option, that's recruit. A good Muslim country. Right, we've got 2 now though. So we've got Morocco and Algeria, Tunisia. So we stop at good Muslim and then we come down to here. Priorities for recruit and travel 2. No, mind you, we're looking between Morocco and Algeria, Tunisia, okay? So no. No, US is one. Alright, poor then fair than good. Well, it's good because that's where we're going. We're going good Muslim. Highest resource, they're both 2s. This is an oil exporter, so that might be the priority, I think. Russia's not, well, That's only in the base game, that, anyway. No disrupt prestige gain. No disrupt prestige gain. Does that mean if there was troops there? I think that's what that means. Why does it not just say no troops then? Oh. Anyway, right, no. If recruit, it's... no, we're travelling, aren't we? It's not recruit. Best jihad diral modifier. They'll both be the same. Yeah. I suppose if there was a reaction marker in here, then it would target that one. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So, no. Same posture as US. They're not. It's a Muslim country. Most cells is normal cells. Adjacent Islamist rule, and then the final one's oil explorer. Neither of them are adjacent to Islamist rule. This is oil explorer though, so this is where we're gonna travel to. So hang on. That's where they're travelling to. Algeria, Tunisia, just based on it being an oil explorer. Travel from, is there an adjacent cell? No, they're all in Afghanistan. So, I mean, that's the only place they can travel from. It does happen to be an auto recruit country. So they've got 3 ops. So yeah, they're going to attempt to travel to good Algeria, Tunisia with the 3 ops. So yeah, each failure removes a cell to funded track. Right, so 3 dice. This is 3 cells going to get to try this. They need a 1 to succeed. There we go. Oh, they get 1. So 2 failures and a success. So 2 failures, there's no active cells in that bunch. So 2 of them go back to the track. However, 1 of them does succeed and makes it in Algeria, Tunisia. Yeah, okay. I just had a thought about something there. Maybe you should finish off what you're doing though, Grant, for you. So that was a successful travel. Okay. That's their 2 cards played. They used all 3 ops there, didn't they? Yeah. So that gets discarded, and so does that. Let's put it for event. So they've 2 cards discarded. They've only got 1 card left, we've got 2. Yeah, my thought there was, and I think this would have been the case. I'm just going back to Syria there. When we played Dara. This card was removed from play, actually. And it says, if Syria not Islamist rule, well, it wasn't, and it wasn't tested. So it said test, and then if US play, improve its governance 1 level not to good. Well, we couldn't improve it because it turned out to test it fair. But if this had tested at poor, or if it had been poor and we improved its governance to fair... Oh, you're talking rubbish, Grant. Yeah, because I'm saying it would remove that awakening marker, but no, hold on. Then it places the awakening marker. However, if there'd been an awakening marker in there, then it would have been tested already. Well, that's true. It could have been, though. It could have had an awakening marker in there, been pure neutral. We played this card, right? Improves its governance to fair neutral, places it on an awakening marker, but because it's improved its governance, it would then remove an awakening marker. That's right, isn't it? But because of how we done it, because if we had tested it at poor there, it improves its governance to fair before it places the awakening marker, so that would have been alright. However, we got lucky and tested it fair. But yeah, just had a passing thought there about that one. That was just try to keep on top of the things that the little things are things that can easily catch you out, I think. Okay, that's me at an hour. We've got 2 cards left to play. They've got 1, so I'm going to just stop there. Cut this as a part. Does this sell bother me? We know that they're going to, and yeah, like Tim pointed out, I was on the wrong thinking that they would. There's 2 cells in the track that's maybe going to recruit there because it's 1 to 4 more cells. But remember, this is a good country, not a poor country. And the good bit does come before the poor with 1 to 4 more cells, but it doesn't want to recruit. It wants to do jihad. So I take my chances with 1 die roll and they need a 1. Again, and to be honest, there's nothing I can do about it anyway. I don't think there's anything I can do to stop that. So, right, I'll cut this part and I'll hopefully get another part and I'll be back very shortly. Cheers.